Welcome to We Are Fine and Neither Are You, a podcast brought to you by two lifetime besties dealing with the beauty and messiness of midlife. Nothing is off limits. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to We Are Fine and Neither Are You. We are April and April, two lifetime besties here to talk about the beauty and messiness of midlife. And today is our plastic surgery episode. I'm so excited. How are you, April?
I'm good. I've been looking forward to this episode for a while now. I'm really excited to talk about
it's
our
going to
stories.
be fun.
Yes.
So we have a friend on today. Our friend Michelle has worked in the beauty industry for the last 20 years, starting as a makeup artist, then attending school to become a licensed esthetician. Once Michelle finished her schooling, she decided she wanted to work on the business side of beauty, which led her to managing a med spa on LA's Robertson Boulevard. It was during her time there she discovered she is a results-oriented person and wanted to take it to the next level, plastic surgery. She began working with Beverly Hills plastic surgeons in 2011 and continues to love her job. Today, she is here to talk all things plastic surgery, including current trends and procedures that are becoming less popular. Today, we're taking the stigma away from plastic surgery and discussing real stories behind the knife. So welcome, Michelle.
Yay! And she's a dear friend of ours, you guys. Fun fact about Michelle, too, is we all were together in Washington together. So we have a lot of fun 20-something-year-old stories. And last week, when Trisha was on, I had my little chimes that I did.
Yes.
And guess what I have this week for you girls?
What? April showing her old.
These are my boobs, you guys. These are my boobs.
Implants that
I love that you kept them.
I did, and you know what? They were totally uncomfortable. I haven't put them in my bra since I got them out it's been like over a year and a half now, 2 years almost.
Gosh.
And you know what's so crazy is guess how much they weigh?
How much?
4 pounds.
Stop it.
4 pounds, these mofos. Yeah. So anyways, these are my little chimes for Michelle's episode.
That's so funny. So for the listener, she's just holding up her old implants and waving them around. That's pretty funny that you saved them.
Yeah, they're great.
I don't think I've seen you, Michelle, since our Mariah Carey nip slip night. Was that the last time I saw you?
That was actually the last time we've seen each other and hung out.
Yeah. That was so funny.
That was 2017. And we did like the pool day and then dinner at Catch.
Yes, that was a fun weekend. And for those of you guys who have been listening to us since the beginning, we actually put a clip of our Mariah Carey nip slip night on one of our shows. We actually talked about it. So for you, if you haven't heard that episode, you'll have to go back and listen. But it was so funny. We were at Catch one night and we ended up in the elevator leaving and Mariah Carey was in there. And when we came to the bottom of the elevator and it opened, it was like paparazzi galore. And they were just snapping pictures and we were in the paparazzi and she had a nip slip that night. So it made TMZ. So we were all on TMZ that night, which was so funny.
That's right.
Never a dull moment with us.
No.
I know. Oh no, I was saying April sent me a picture, was it last week, of all of us the night before your wedding, April.
Yeah.
We were our baby faces. We might have to post that picture.
You guys have to post that.
I know, or I'll try to find like a we're going out picture because we just, like I said, we sowed our wild oats together. We had so much fun. I loved the days of Washington State.
That's crazy nights.
I actually have a photo of the three of us from my 21st birthday in the limo that I rented. So I'll have to send that to you guys.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't think we look any different. Like we all look pretty much the same, especially right now because I have dark hair and both you guys were blonde at the time, just like you are now. So
I love it. I love it. Oh,
I'd love to see that. Oh my gosh. All my pictures are like in the attic. So I haven't seen them for years. So I always love when you guys post new ones.
I will.
So we're so excited to steal you away. We can see that you're at your office, your beautiful high rise in Beverly Hills.
I am. Yeah.
I love it. Working hard to make that money. I'm so excited. I loved the intro too, where everybody can know that you started off as an esthetician and then got into the plastics industry, which is, I think, any esthetician's dream is to work for a plastic surgeon. I know I would love that. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I went to esthetician school thinking I was going to come out and be an esthetician and continue with the makeup artistry. And I got out of esthetician school and I realized my back and neck cannot handle that
Yeah.
type of work.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, ouch, because I had just spent all this time and studying and becoming an esthetician and getting licensed and I love working with people, and being hands-on. But yeah, there was just one night I got home from school and it was like towards the end of school and I had to go to the ER because I was in so much pain. And that was just kind of like, wow, I don't think I can do this.
Right.
But the good news is there's always a business side. So that's the direction I headed.
Well. You've been in it for almost over a decade now, right?
So plastic surgery, actually, I've been in it for 14 years. Well, 1 year at the med spa and then 14 years in plastic surgery practices. So yeah, it's been a while.
Well, I'm excited to hear what you have to say today. And as April and I were planning for this episode, we were kind of talking about our past, our childhood, when plastic surgery really came into our world.
Right.
And it was kind of interesting when I was thinking back. We were just discussing it the other day, and I don't know about you girls, but it's like we are the generation of Oprah Winfrey and Sally Jesse Raphael. Like I would run home to watch those shows. And I don't know if you girls remember like Sally Jesse Raphael getting her fake boobs out. Like it was making her sick and it was this big thing. And it was the very first time that I'd ever heard of like somebody getting plastic surgery. And it was like this hush hush thing. No one talked about it. It was very controversial. And I just remember like thinking like, why would you ever do that? And it was just this big thing, but obviously we wanted big boobs. I mean, my boobs never it did not come in the way I wanted them to. And April, I don't know if you remember this story, but we went out dancing one night and I don't know if it's your idea or my idea, probably mine because it was bad. But we held our boobs together like this and then taped them.
Underneath.
So that
that was probably your idea. Yeah, that was probably your idea. That sounds like an April.
Yeah. What's the gray tape? What's that called? Like the
duct tape.
It was duct tape.
Duct tape. Oh my God.
All night with our like one boob in the middle, like we had cleavage right here, thinking that we were fooling everybody at the dance club, dancing all night long. And then guess what? We had to take off the tape. And I will never forget like screaming bloody murder. And I had to have April come in and like help me because your body heat like melted the glue. And so she just had to 1, 2, 3 rip it off. And I was bleeding. And I remember I had to explain it to my boyfriend why I had scabs on my boobs.
Could you imagine like taking a girl home and you're like getting down and dirty and then she has like duct tape taping her boobs together? Oh my God. What we were so
God.
It was so bad. But yeah, I just remember like wanting, I think that and like Baywatch, good old Pammy Anderson made us all want these big, huge boobs. And I do think that our generation, unfortunately, we really drank the Kool-Aid when it came to plastic surgery, and it's like the extreme body makeover and all those shows that were out. And it was like, at least for me, my story started when after I had Emma, my second child, we were living overseas and that extreme body makeover was super popular. And I just remember going like, I wanted a nose job. That's actually what I went in for. I was really excited to get a nose job. My Cutler nose, the straight nose. And so I remember going into Dr. 90210, you guys. Do you guys remember Dr. Ray?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. That's who my plastic surgeon was. And I was so excited because he was Mormon. So I thought, oh, well, if I could get away
he's going to take care of me.
Exactly. Yeah, and I asked him, I said, are there a lot of Mormons that get plastic surgery? And he's like, that's my number one client. And this was before anybody was being honest about it, at least. So I go in, I tell him, well, I thought I was done with my second. So I was like, I've had my kids and I really want my nose job. And he goes, don't touch your face, but your boobs and your stomach, we can do something about that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know I needed help with air, so I ended up getting a tummy tuck and a boob job. And you guys, I should have known when his front desk girl gave me the good flasheroo in her office. That's what she was you, Michelle. She was the coordinator and she showed me her boobs and they were the biggest boobs I've ever seen. I was like, whoa.
Wait, she showed you her boobs?
Yeah, she flashed me and said, let me show you what his work looks like. I should have ran out the door because I was like appalled at how big they are. And that's how big he made me. He made me a triple A triple F.
That's
Wow.
insane.
I just wanted to
That's
know
huge.
Whoa.
You got more than a nose job.
I know, seriously. And you know what's sad about the time that I did it? It was my baby's years, where I'm having my babies. And so I was a bigger girl. And so all it did was make me look like a big fat Italian grandma. Like, that's it. Like, it didn't make me sexier. It didn't make me feel more confident. I just now had these honking boobs to deal with. And I remember just regretting it the second I got them in. And so then I come back to the States. I get a hold of Dr. Ray again, and I'm like, you got to take these out, because I was calling him, and Michelle, I'm sure you could relate, but I was like, they're too big. They're too big. And then his office kept telling me, nope, give it a year. It'll be fine. And so in the meantime, I get pregnant with my third, you guys. So after going through all that plastic surgery, the tummy tuck, the boob job, then I get pregnant. And now my boobs are like triple Z's. They're so big. I'm like, oh my gosh, too bad I had morals and values, or else I could have made a lot of money.
I don't think they had OnlyFans back then.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, what am I going to do with these things? So I just knew as soon as my youngest was born, I was going to go smaller. It wasn't quite at the age where I wanted them out yet. So I went way smaller, and I asked him, I was like, Dr. Ray, what the heck? Like, I only wanted to be a full B, like small C. And he had said that when he went in for the surgery, my pocket was bigger than he expected. So he made the implant bigger. And I was like, that is terrible. So he felt bad and gave me a lift for free, thank gosh. And then we went smaller, but I still was like a triple D. They were still really, really big. Yeah. So then fast forward almost, 18 years later, I'm now 7-ish, 46. I can't remember exactly how old I was. 40, probably almost 47. But I got to this stage where now I'm in menopause and I wanted them out. And what's crazy is that almost all of my friends have had some kind of plastic surgery, mainly breast implants. And let me tell all the viewers now, we are not making plastic surgery a bad thing. Like, to each his own. If you want to have plastic surgery, this is your body. You do what you want to do. But the beauty is you don't have to. And I think that as we get older, we feel that way. So I get into menopause, and out of all of my friends, 8 of us have gotten our breast implants out. And only one is sad she did it. So I think that says something about this age. And I have to say, after having these things inside my bra for like 10 minutes, they're so heavy. And I got the silicone. I got the gummy bear, they're supposed to be lighter and everything. And nope, they are heavy. And so I think with my deconstruction, what's been really interesting is that I just wanted it all out. I just wanted to get as real as possible and get as connected as possible. And it was really hard. If I'm being honest, though, I had to really work on my self-esteem again, because now they're, they have little scars on them, and they didn't feel the same as they used to. And so the feeling had to come back again. So it was quite a process. I would say it was about a year.
And you had to have a lift when you got them out too.
Yes, I had a lift.
The scarring is worse.
Yep, scarring is worse. I did the lollipop scar, which it's minimal, but it is still there. And the feeling, the feeling wasn't completely there right away. Now they're back, and thank gosh. But I was like, I can't give up that. That's a big price to pay. But and I had to actually get used to what they look like again and find sexiness in that. And because when you're used to these big fake boobs all the time, that's kind of what you think is sexy. But now that they're out and I'm healed, all I can say is I feel so much more feminine. I feel like smaller. I feel like more soft.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with small boobs.
Right. And they're kind of making a comeback, right? Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure you see that a lot.
I think it's trends too. I mean, back when we got them, like to your point, it was like Pamela Anderson and Carmen Electra, kind of that whole Baywatch, look where it was like skinny eyebrows and big boobs, and that's what we wanted, right? And so trends have changed, and I look at girls with smaller boobs. I mean, after having my babies, I could barely fill out an A cup.
Right.
So it was like empty. And so that's why I got them. And then my doctor, gave them, mine were too big as well. So finish your story and then I'll get back to me.
Yeah. No, and I think I mean, to that point, I think, and Michelle, you can even chime in, but I feel like a lot of plastic surgeons do go bigger because we're swollen at first and we get used to these big boobs. And then when they go down, you call and say you're sad with the size, right? And so it's like, that was basically my story. So I got them out and, going through this whole journey of like loving my body again and feeling sexy again. And thank God I'm married to the man I am, because he loves them. And he just keeps like, he loves the squeezy, the softness of them. And I didn't even realize like that you could tell a difference, but they are, I mean, even though they're squishy, you can feel that there's something inside you, And so he's like, I love that this is like you. I love that this is you. And so I commend the men out there that make their girls feel great and feel that way. And you know what? Like I said, if you want them in, great. If you don't want them in, there's an option. You can actually get them out and feel just as beautiful and sexy, and if not more. Because what's happening now, and it's kind of like when you want a red car, all you do is see red cars, right? So I feel like now all I see, and I'm in California, so all I see are girls with fake boobs. And I don't know if it's my age or if it's my personality, but I don't like looking like everyone else. Like it kind of irritates me. Like I'm like, oh God, I don't want to, everyone looks the same. Everyone has the same exact thing going on. And so when I'm at the gym, I see these girls with these huge boobs, and all I can say is they look harsh. Like they look hard. They look not even physically, but their appearance, it's not as feminine as they could be. And I just think, I was telling April before we were preparing for this, I really do think that our children's generation, so the next generation, I think they're getting the point because they're not as quick to get plastic surgery. At least I haven't noticed it. My Emma girl is like, absolutely not. But she also she has boobs. So it's like, I think it's a difference between, if you don't have anything, or if you have if they're deformed or whatever, girl, I totally get it. So that was my little journey. April, what about you? What about your little journey in plastic surgery?
I mean,
you want to share?
Yeah, really quick. I mean, mine's not very long, but so after I had my second daughter, I told you, I just was empty after breastfeeding. And so, well, actually, let me back up, because you were talking about how when we were growing up, it was there was like this stigma about having fake boobs. And I think the first person I remember getting a breast implant was my mom's friend. And remember, you and I were talking about this.
I remember her. Yeah.
We thought, oh my God, she got a boob job. Like we were kind of like, we were, probably in middle school or whatever, but we were totally like kind of slut shaming her a little bit, like why would you get
so
fake
skinny
boobs?
And then she had these big round boobs on her chest, and we would go to the beach and she'd have her little bikini on and stuff. And we were like, I bet you they cost like $1 million. Like we couldn't even believe that somebody could afford that.
Yeah, we were just like so kind of in awe, like why would she do that? And she just wants people to look at her type thing. And but then when you become an adult and have a baby and you realize, what it does to your body, you just want to feel feminine. And I think at that time, so it was like 2011, I was living in Florida. Hello. So,
that's not an easy place to Florida and California, I feel like and Utah, they have a lot of plastic surgery there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody had big boobs and I just felt very empty. And so I thought, well, I'll just go get my boobs done and I'll feel better about myself. And I showed him a picture of like, I'm trying to remember basically I took my Victoria's Secret catalog with me to the doctor's appointment. Nice. And I was like pointing at the women, like, make me look like her. And, he did, and they were bigger than I had wanted. And I lived with them for 12 years. I lived with them like that. But what I realized was, when I was smaller, it was fine. I mean, they definitely did not look as proportionate as I would have liked. I definitely looked more top heavy, but I was skinny. So it was like, I didn't really care. Right. But then as I got older and I started going through menopause, and I'm like, I feel like my boobs make me look bigger than I am. Like they make me look fatter, And so 2 years ago, I had them replaced because they say you should every 10 years or whatever. And so I waited 12 years and I had them replaced. And I said, hey, let's go a little smaller, because I was feeling they were just too big. So he could only go a little bit smaller because my pocket, they've already stretched out so much. So he's like, we can only go a little bit smaller. Otherwise you have to have a lift. And I just wasn't in the frame of mind to go through that like bigger surgery, because the exchange was easy. It's like, make an incision, pull what out, put it in. It was like easy. It didn't hurt really. The recovery was like no big deal. But here we are 2 years later, and I'm still like, these are too big. They're heavy. Like I feel heavy,
they
top
are,
heavy.
Yeah.
Clothes don't fit me because if I wear a dress that fits on top, it doesn't fit on the bottom.
right.
I just feel I want them out. Like to your
Yeah.
point, like I want them out. I want I'm gonna have to have a lift, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of my journey. I mean, that was the style back then. And when I was, we were living in Florida, people had big boobs, and it was great. So for a few years there, like I loved them. But now I
Right.
look at girls with small boobs and I just think, oh my gosh, they just look so classy and elegant and
Yeah.
sexy. And I just think smaller boobs are very sexy.
Right.
And so I'll get there, but right now I'm just going to have to live with my
Your
implants, but
honker.
that's okay. My big old honkers. But I'm gonna replace the implants with with a little, maybe like a
That's
chin
right. We
neck.
love that
Little,
little mini facelift is going to be right
yeah,
around the
I'm gonna
corner.
get a little
Seriously.
lower face. So I'm like all for plastic surgery. I
Yeah.
think do what makes you happy. That's just my story. I love the boobs at first, and I don't love them so much now, but definitely gonna have a little face nip tuck here in a little bit. I mean, the only thing I have right now is Botox. I did lip fillers once, just to kind of help. I was starting to get little lines, little cracks on my
Yeah.
upper lip. And I've always liked my lips, so I never thought I'd get lip filler, but I just did it just to kind of fill in those little cracks. And
Right.
I loved it. I was
Yeah.
like, they're not too big. It gave them a little bit of a pout, but I mean, I'm kind of obsessed with that. And it lasted a long time. Like I
Yeah.
still feel like I don't see those lines. It's been like 2 years.
Right.
So I probably due to go in and get a little, zhuzhing
Touch up.
there. But yeah, but I love the lip one. The other thing I did not like is I did under eye filler and I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, because
Why
they
did
have
you
to
hate
put
it?
filler in your cheek so that
Okay.
the filler has something to sit on, and it made me look really puffy.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I have to figure out something else for my under eyes. But anyway, that's my story. That's all I've
Well,
had.
and who the gentleman that Michelle, the famous we could say he's famous plastic surgeon. We won't say his name. We'll keep his name
Yeah.
secret, but he definitely works for a predominant plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. He is the only person I will let do anything to me. Like he has such a good touch. I've only had Botox in my face. And I'm obsessed with Botox. I've been getting
Yeah.
Botox since I was like, gosh, was it 30 when I started? I want to say, and I'm not even
Yeah.
happy with this. I feel like that's too much. I
Oh,
want to
because you can't
have,
see here.
yeah, you guys, for our listeners, I'm like making a little frown. I don't even want to see that. But I do like a little movement because I'm an actress. So I do need a little movement. I don't like the
Yeah.
completely frozen face. So for me personally, but man, he has such a good touch. So I go and see him every 3 months, and then I get to see sweet Michelle too. So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
on
Michelle,
to
what are
Michelle.
Michelle, what are the kind of the popular treatments right now? Are you seeing kind of a dip I mean, you're in LA, so people are still probably getting boob jobs every day, but like, what are the popular procedures right now? And what have you seen kind of fall off and not be so popular anymore?
Honestly, nothing.
Really? It stayed pretty stacked, pretty even?
Oh, there we go. Sorry. My headphones or my earpods keep going in and out. So
That's okay.
honestly, nothing's really dropped off. And I actually have some statistics I looked up for today.
Oh, great.
But so in 2023, there was a global increase in both surgical and non-surgical aesthetics procedures of 3.4%. And for the surgical procedures, breast augmentation is listed there, and it's up 2% from 2022.
Mm.
So that's a trend that's like not dying, even though a lot of women are now having their breast implants taken out. And one thing I want to say about breast implants and the whole breast implant illness thing, and I hear a lot of women talk about, like, after they take their breast implants out, like how much they regret having them in. And I feel like we need to be a little kinder to ourselves. Because, you know, as trends change, we change and we grow up. You know, I'm so different than I was when I was in my 20s
Yeah.
and in my 30s. And, you know, at the time when we make decisions like that, it serves us then. And it's okay to change over the years. And April for you, or April you, you're both April, April you, for you, you know, at the time, maybe that was what you needed.
Mm-hmm.
And now you don't, you know, and that's okay. And listen, I get it. Like I've always had naturally big boobs, which I've kind of always hated. And I've always thought like the women with the small like B cup, you know, was just, it looks so good, so classy. They look so thin, you know,
Mhm.
in, you know, in their upper body. Um, but yeah, that's not really something I can ever get to just because of my size, you
Yeah.
know, and the build of my body. Um, but I kind of got off track.
I love that though.
Um,
I think that's so special, Michelle, for you to like remind us to have grace with ourselves because I think,
Mhm.
at least for me, when I get wrapped around the axle with regret, it's like I can't let it go. And you're so
yeah,
right. Like
same.
that post baby April needed a little mommy makeover. I did,
Yeah,
you know, and
Yeah,
it
me
did help.
too.
yeah,
We both
Yeah.
needed it. And yeah,
Yep.
so that's
It
what I was
totally
saying. Like
helped.
I loved him for a while, but it's like you said, Michelle, like you change with the trends, and
Yep.
we both have changed, April. And now we
Yep.
don't want them. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like we'll
Yeah.
yeah,
we're gonna move up. We're gonna move up. We're gonna move up.
Yeah. And I think in general with plastic surgery, and this goes to all the women listening, you know, if you're doing it because a man wants you to do it, that's a huge no-no for me.
yeah.
Like do it for
Never do
you.
that
Yeah,
person.
do it for you. If
Yeah,
your husband's telling you to do something, then you need to tell him to look in the mirror, you know, because a lot of times it's the guys that like have the beer bellies that, you know, expect their girls to be perfect or whatever. But one thing that I was actually surprised with my plastic surgery journey is it didn't make me perfect. I thought I was gonna be perfect. You know, I thought I was
Mhm.
just gonna go under the knife and wake up this like, you know, sexy Victoria's Secret model. And it's just if you don't fix the inside, it doesn't matter what the outside is looking like. You know,
right.
you have to do internal work and you have to really truly, and that's something I think that happens in our late 40s and early 50s when we go through the menopause. I think you really do start loving yourself unconditionally. And you're like, I don't
Yeah,
freaking need this anymore, you know, with whatever that is. So I love
right.
that. And Michelle, what is your plastic surgery journey? Do you have anything that you want to share with our
Yeah,
listeners with that?
definitely. And I want to start this by saying, so my first like real exposure to this world of beauty and what it really means for people was when my mom had breast cancer.
Mm,
And the first time she had breast cancer, and you know, she lost all her hair. And you know, you just feel low. You know, you're sick, you're going through these treatments, and she actually started this campaign with the American Cancer Society, and it was called at the time Look Good, Feel Better.
mm,
And I can't remember, I think she was on TV or she was in a newspaper article, but it was all about, you know, getting up in the morning, putting on your makeup, you know, wearing your wig or your head wrap. My mom had designed all these head wraps because she didn't like to wear the wigs. And that that's what stuck with me. And it's not about vanity, it's about feeling good. And
mm,
Mhm.
you know, we live in a physical world and we have eyes, and it's natural for us to just be attracted to beauty, whether it's what we're looking at in the mirror or it's a garden or you know, anything. Like that's just who we are as humans. And so when you take some time for yourself and whatever it is you choose to do that makes you look better, which makes you feel better, like that's okay.
mm.
So for
Yeah.
me, my parents poo-pooed plastic surgery my whole life. My dad would always say, "Don't you dare do your lips. Don't you dare do this." And of course, at the time, I was so young and I was like, ah, what's he talking about? I'm never going to do anything. And then cut to, you know, unfortunately, my parents passed the same year I had my son, but I breastfed for a year. And you can imagine, you know, breastfeeding for a year with a hungry little boy, having naturally big boobs. That that doesn't your breasts don't take kindly to that. And so I was also single. So for me, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I stopped breastfeeding, and I'm like, my breasts were like empty sacks, you know, and that wasn't comfortable for me. And then also the thought of dating and potentially undressing, you know, in front of another man and being sexual. And that was just like terrifying. And so I actually, one of the first doctors I worked for, he gave me a breast lift, and it was a game changer for me. And it kind of like that kind of just started the train from there for me. That led to some liposuction, and then I ended up having another breast lift, like a secondary breast lift. And the second time we did a small implant because I have naturally bigger boobs. So they, you know, they're just prone to sagging, especially if I have weight fluctuations. So we put in a small implant to kind of anchor them. And that has lasted for a long time, thank God. But, you know, now like you, April, I'm wanting to get them out. I don't need them anymore. And, you know, my body's my body and I'm fine with it.
Right.
But all of that for me was just like, look good, feel better. I needed to feel better in my clothing. I needed to feel confident. And sometimes things happen with your body, and it's just kind of out of your control. And I'm very grateful that we can do things like these cosmetic procedures where we have the option to change things and refine ourselves.
Right.
And that's what I love about this industry is it's really not about vanity. It's about giving people the option to change something or you know, smooth out the rough edges. When I first started working in plastic surgery, I was working with a different surgeon. And I remember being kind of like pleasantly surprised at all of our clientele. He did a lot of facelifts. And these were all working women, women who were lawyers and big account execs. And they were coming in and, you know, they had just spent all this time in school and then working hard and raising kids. And they just wanted to reclaim themselves. And that was just like, I just was like, wow, okay, so this is like not like bimbo after bimbo coming in, you know, for every procedure under the sun. This is like real people who want to reclaim themselves. So yeah, I'm so happy this is what I do. And it can be very rewarding. It can also be a little stressful, but yeah, it's great.
Okay, so since you brought up facelifts, I want to talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what do you do? Okay, first of all, how painful is a facelift? Like if you just want to do like a mini facelift, like is that a pretty painful procedure? I mean, you look at the pictures and these people look so banged up and you're going, oh my God, this looks awful. Like how bad is it? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, is it pretty bad? Is the recovery okay?
The recovery's not terrible. You do look pretty banged up. I was actually just having a conversation with my neighbor this morning. She loves to do all things cosmetic procedures. She's about the same age as me. When I used to work for the doctor that did a lot of the facelifts, I actually don't remember much because I was working front desk. I was all front office. I don't remember hearing much about the pain from the facelift, but one thing I do remember, a lot of these women were doing CO2 laser at the same time as their facelift. And the CO2 laser is what's really painful. That just, you know, I mean, you're taking off a whole layer of skin, you know, and a lot of these women would do their face, neck, and chest. And
does that just help with like hyperpigmentation?
It basically takes your skin, like when you're all healed, your skin looks like a baby's bottom. Like
Okay.
smooth, just smooth, poreless. I mean, just like skin to die for.
Right.
So
if you're already going under the knife and you're going to have recovery, why not have recovery from the laser treatment as well? Is that what their thought process is?
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like how we usually recommend doing liposuction if you're getting a tummy tuck, because chances are, most people need liposuction of their flank area. And it's like, okay, well, we're addressing the front. Why don't we make everything flush? Like let's go around to the back. So,
and do you feel like liposuction works?
100%. And so that's one of the procedures one of my favorite procedures I've ever done, because it changed my body in a way that's just kind of always stayed, even despite weight fluctuations. After I had my son, for whatever reason, I don't know, I just got really wide in my midsection. That was kind of where my body wanted to store all my fat. And I just wanted to kind of narrow my hips down, and so I ended up doing liposuction to my upper inner thighs, upper outer thighs, and hip area and flanks. And yeah, that's just kind of like, that's just stayed with me all this time, despite all my crazy weight fluctuations over the years.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's one of the more painful procedures, but so worth it.
Well, and with the lower facelift, is there like an age range that you think that you would suggest people to start thinking about it? I've heard like do it before your 60s so you can enjoy it, or what do you find is the perfect little age range for that?
So, I mean, it's person to person, but that's definitely something that we don't recommend doing starting too young, because once you start that process, you kind of have to keep up with it. I've heard a good facelift lasts about 10 years. Really? So it's like you don't want to open that can of worms too soon.
So do you have to get more than one?
Sometimes. I mean, it really depends.
Okay.
I just think it depends on the person, but I would say a good time to do it is usually like late 40s, early 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can your surgeon do a 2-for-1 for April and I?
Yeah. So just go and book us.
3-for-1.
Go and book us. I need my neck's getting a little saggy. I need to like pull all this up.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, where do we get our standard for beauty, right? It's like, do you think it's like the chicken or the egg? It's like, are we looking at all these images with social media and these beautiful movie stars and comparing ourselves to them and wanting to be a little bit like them? Or is it truly, like you were saying, Michelle, we just really like beautiful things?
I think it's both. I think it's both. It's what we see, in the media and social media and TV and magazines, everything. But again, it's also, there's a reason that skinny models have stayed, popular. And I know we've shifted into this body positivity, and now we have curvier models and plus size models, and that's become more of the norm. But you still end up seeing skinnier women, and that sort of just, I feel like that's still kind of outshining other sizes. And listen, I'm a curvy woman. I'm a lot bigger than, now than I was in my 30s and 20s. But the reason I bring that up is because I'm going back to that innate need and want to look a certain way. And I just think we see something and that's what we gravitate towards, I know for women, we just want to we're always thinking about weight loss and being skinnier. And, like any ad I see on Instagram for any type of supplement for women, they always use weight loss as a marketing tool.
It's a multi-million-dollar industry.
That's what gets women to buy.
Yep.
So
And,
Yeah.
I think with that being said too, at least for me, when a girl catches my eye, whether it's out in public or, on TV or whatever, it's always confidence. Because
Yeah.
I've seen bigger women that are sexier than anyone in the room. And then I've
Right.
also seen skinny women that are sexier than any, it's just, I think it really depends on that confidence. And I think that's something that's beautiful that happens with this age is we start getting like this inner confidence, this like, I don't give an F attitude. And like, I
Yeah.
am who I am, take me or leave me. And that's really sexy. And I think
Yeah.
that people want more of that. They're like, what are you doing different? And why are you this? And why are you that? And it's like, you know what? It's because I just start loving myself. I'm not
Right.
worried about fitting inside this like societal norm anymore. And it's refreshing. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, like I was saying, with the generation to come, so like my daughter's generation, she really, I mean, they do not buy it into it like we do, or we did.
Right.
So it's just this beautiful thing. I think maybe it's the pendulum just keeps going back and forth, and maybe my grandkids will be more into, the social beauties or whatever. But I think confidence is so sexy, no matter what you look like. And not
Yeah.
only that, but I kind
100%.
of like it when women look different. Like I like a big nose on a girl or a girl that has something different about her. She doesn't look like
Right.
everybody else. It's
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like my kids, when I told them I got Botox, they were so shocked. They were like, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, look at me. I mean, I look like I've always looked. It's just I don't have wrinkles. It's actually kind of an anti-aging, uh, situation. But they're kind of treating me like I treated my mom's friend who had a boob job. Like,
Yeah. Like, what
like
are you
how could you
doing?
do? What are you doing? But
Yeah.
I'm like, you just wait. You just wait until shit starts going sideways. And I think
Exactly.
I think as we're going through perimenopause and going through menopause, our bodies are changing so much and we just don't feel like ourselves anymore.
Right.
In
Yeah.
so many ways. And I think being able to go zhuzh yourself up a little bit, whether it's, lifting the jawline or, or strengthening your jawline or your neck or getting a little mini facelift or whatever, just to help give you that youthful look that you're used to, because you just don't look like yourself anymore.
Right.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm going through, where I'm like, shit, I mean, I'm starting to notice things and it's depressing, and I just want I just want to make myself feel better, and I don't want to be shamed for that, and I
Yeah.
think I am kind of over the boob thing, but now I'm like, okay, let's move on to the face, because that's what people are seeing now.
Yeah.
No one else is seeing my boobs right now, and I'm kind of want to look. And as my body gets bigger, as we age and we gain weight, like I want to look smaller, and so that's where I'm
Right.
like, okay, if I get smaller boobs, maybe that'll help all the rest of that. But
Yeah. Well, and what about the eyelid surgery, Michelle? Like that's really a popular one. I've
that's a
seen a
big
lot
one.
of my clients have had that done, and it is a beautiful change. I mean, my gosh, they go from looking tired to just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. It's so nice.
Is that called the upper bluff? Is that the upper
So
bluff?
it's called an upper blepharoplasty. And I had that done in my 30s. I always forget about that procedure because I had it done with my liposuction. So the liposuction, I was in so much pain from that. I forgot about everything else.
Yeah.
But that's actually, that's a really great procedure. And it's a pretty, not too invasive. And sometimes doctors do it under local anesthesia. And that can change everything. It can take you, like April, you said, women look tired and worn out, and then you have that procedure done, and then, suddenly you look awake and refreshed. And I was my dad had really saggy lids, and I kind of noticed in my 30s, I was like, wow, I'm starting to age like my father. And if I don't do something about this now, like, who knows, So I had the opportunity to do that. And it's been the best.
Both of my parents had it done.
Oh,
Because
really? I
it
didn't know
does.
that.
Yeah, because it's when your eyelids start drooping, it could actually affect your eyesight.
Yep.
And so you can actually get your insurance to cover it if it's bad enough. And so both my parents, like, it was bad enough to where it was affecting their eyesight. And so they were able to get it covered by insurance. And so so I started noticing it with me too. And that's actually the reason why I started getting Botox, is because I'm like, I just need a little lift
Yep.
just to
Lift the
help with that.
brows.
I lift the brows a little just to help, because it
Yeah.
wasn't bad enough to where I needed surgery, but it was bad
Right.
enough to where I was noticing it. And so that's actually why I started doing Botox. I'm like, well, I'll just do that until I'm ready to actually have the surgery. So
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
because it's
that.
hereditary.
Yeah.
Right. That's actually what when I have my doctor do my Botox, I have him lift my brows because
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
need that little lift.
Yeah.
It's been about 13 years since I did my blepharoplasty.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's something I'm gonna have to do soon, but yeah, I just need that
I love
little
that.
lift.
Okay, so talk to me
Well,
about
now
the lower bleph, what's, I can't say that word.
yeah.
Blepharoplasty.
I know it's a mouthful, blepharoplasty.
Yeah.
So I don't know too much about the lower blepharoplasty. My doctor doesn't do that, and
Okay.
I don't remember the last doctor doing it very much. But yeah, I mean, it's something that can be done. It's good for people with big, bags under their eyes. They also have, like my son's father. He's got like bags, but then he also has like they're like puffy. He's got this like fat pad, and they can treat that too, and that can take you. That's a game changer too. If it's bad enough, they can knock 10 years off your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, I actually had a friend that did it 10 years ago. Her procedure was called an eye pinch. And same thing, she like went in looking kind of tired and then she came out, looking refreshed and younger. And she did it in, her surgeon's office under local anesthesia. So
Awesome. I
yeah.
love that.
Okay,
I love it.
what procedures are men getting?
I was gonna ask that, April.
Oh, okay, good. We're on the same
Yeah, I'm
page.
curious. Yeah, because here it falls on our shoulders. It's like women, we have to look so perfect. But do the men ever come in and get anything done?
Yes. So men get they get a little bit of everything. So we do a lot of male breast reduction.
Oh
That's
yeah.
become a very common thing for men, and fortunately now I think men are feeling more comfortable talking about it and seeking out help for it. And I don't know why. It's because I think maybe it's the food that we're eating and the hormones and the dairy and all of that. But a lot of this is developing during puberty for young men, and then at a certain point, there's really only surgery to treat it.
Right. Because it is breast tissue. It's not just
It's
necessarily fat.
actual breast tissue.
Yeah, so it
The
must be
only
a
way,
spike in estrogen in their system.
yeah, and the only
Yeah.
way to treat that is to excise it out. You can't liposuction breast tissue. It's not,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So you have to excise it out. Um, but also, we have a lot of men getting liposuction procedures, tummy tucks, lower body lifts, upper body lifts.
Right.
Yeah, it's men are out there just like us,
Yeah.
and for them, their approach to plastic surgery is so different than women. Women tend to approach it, on a very emotional level. We make emotional decisions. With men, it's very calculated and logical, and does this fit in with my life? And the men have a lot of questions, and they're planners. And I feel like with my women patients, like they kind of come in and they get their procedure and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And whereas men, I'm answering questions every step of the way.
They're more detail oriented. I know I've known
Yeah.
people that have been like, I decided to get boobs on a Friday and my appointment was on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Like it's just
exactly.
like that's just how it goes, yeah.
Yeah, you would think it would be the other way around, but it's not.
We probably just don't want to know. We're like, just do it. Just do it. We don't want to know all the details.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. And then what about like the Kybella and the cool sculpting and all it? Like, is there really results from those, or do you find like it's better just to save up for the facelift?
Honestly, the surgeons I've worked with, we are more surgical. Like we just kind of feel like it's better to just save up and do the real procedure.
Right.
I feel like I've known some people in the past who've had really good results from cool sculpting. But if you add up how much you're paying per treatment and the number of treatments that you need, I mean, you're almost to, depending on the area that you're treating, you're almost to like the same amount as a surgery.
Right.
And, you know, the surgery is a one and done. And with the Kybella, so the problem with Kybella is that it works and you can do it, but you swell up so much for like 2 weeks. Like you kind of look like a bullfrog.
Oh gosh.
And I know the doctor I work for, he just was kind of like, that doesn't even make sense. You know, why would I do that when I can take a patient to the OR, do the liposuction, and put them in a chin strap, and then that's it.
They're good to go.
Yeah, they're good to go.
How dangerous, or I mean, I remember back in like, I don't know if it's the 90s and early 2000s where I felt like there were a lot of stories about that liposuction was kind of dangerous, or like people had issues from it. Is it a fairly safe procedure now?
It's actually very safe. So I had heard all of that too. And I remember when I worked for the first surgeon, that was a procedure that a lot of patients would add on. And again, like all these like normal, just everyday working people, and you know, they're like, oh yeah, you know, my stomach's a little, you know, the gym never really covers it. So well, let's get some liposuction. And yeah, I just remember thinking like, whoa, wow, okay, everyone's doing liposuction, and oh my God, is it safe? And it's actually very safe. I feel like I don't know, there was some rumors, you know, long ago, like when I was a kid, that it wasn't safe. And I don't know what has changed since then. Obviously, we've come a long way with technology and, you know, the devices that we use and stuff. But, you know, another important thing with all of this stuff is to really vet your surgeon.
Yeah.
You should really only be having surgery with someone who's board certified. The board certification process is pretty tough. And I've known doctors who it's taken them a couple of times to pass.
Right.
And then I lost my train of thought. Thank you, menopause.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about the safety of liposuction,
and also like does lipo grow in other places? Like I've heard that before. Like if you get lipo in your legs, like will your elbows get fat? Like will your fat cells go? Like I've heard these crazy things. It's like, okay, you're taking it from one area and then your body's going to start storing it in another.
Yeah, so that's kind of true. So what happens with liposuction is that it's permanent, like fat cell removal. So once you take those fat cells away, they don't come back.
Okay.
Though I can tell you, so sometimes people gain weight after liposuction, and I did. And what happens is your other fat cells take on what the other fat cells would have. So, I mean, for me, I had a little disproportionate, fat gain after my liposuction. You know, I was young and I was like, I just had it all sucked out, you know, let's party. And notice like, oh, wow, my arms are a little bigger than they normally would.
Yeah. You still have to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
It's not like
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with the health scare back then, it was probably a lot of, I mean, if you think about people who are going under to have liposuction, you know, if you're maybe too overweight or you don't have good cardiovascular health or something, you know, that could be a big problem going under anesthesia in general. So,
yeah. And that brings me back to what I was starting to say, or what I was going to say earlier, or a minute ago. You want to make sure whoever you're having surgery with specializes in that and has done, you know, a number of cases. And you want to, you look at their before and afters, but also another important aspect of having surgery is we send everyone for medical clearance. You know, we're not going to do surgery on someone that is not healthy to have surgery under general anesthesia. So that's just another important part of it. You know, you need a physical and some labs. And, you know, if you're over 50, we need an EKG, sometimes a chest x-ray. And then if you've ever had any cardiac issues, we send you to your cardiologist and you need full cardiac clearance.
Right.
And so I don't know, April B, like maybe back in the day, they weren't taking those measures with people, you know, now it's, you know, every surgeon I've ever met, you know, they won't do a surgery unless there's some type of labs or medical clearance. Cause that's just,
you even hear about like patients not, you know, they really encourage you not to smoke. Like there's something about smoking and not healing correctly.
Yep.
That's really interesting. Like I've heard of some surgeons, like if they find out that you test positive for nicotine, like they won't even do the surgery.
Yeah, they'll cancel your surgery the day of.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with the nicotine, that's a vasoconstrictor. So meaning like it affects healing, you know. Smoking and all of that, you know, restricts blood flow and oxygen to your tissue. So yeah, we're actually very strict about it here. And we tell patients, look, you have to quit.
Yeah.
And like you can't vape, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No nicotine of any kind.
Right.
And minimum 4 weeks prior to a procedure. And then sometimes 3, depending on how much they're smoking.
Right.
We do test day of surgery. We will do a urine test. And if they come up positive, then we have to reschedule.
Yeah, and that's expensive.
Surgeons are even more strict with that. You know, I have a friend who's also a surgery coordinator, and she's there a minimum of 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to listen to your doctor's instructions. And
absolutely.
So with you working here, I'm curious, like what's your favorite part of your job, and then what's the worst part of your job?
Oh gosh. The most favorite part of my job is obviously seeing these patients after their surgeries and, you know, seeing them so happy with their results. And it's just like, it's the best feeling in the world. We also my surgeon does a lot of top surgery for transgender people.
Oh.
And for some of these trans people, I mean, it's life-changing and it's freeing, and it's like allowing them to be them true selves. And to just see that, you know, and it's such an emotional thing too for them.
Yeah.
But to see them come out on the other side, I mean, there's just nothing like it. You know, it's like when I have those moments with patients, I'm like, all right, this is why I do it, you know, because this job can be stressful, you know, and it's kind of one of those jobs where I kind of, you know, I'm never really not working, you know, even in my free time, I'm tending to a patient, you know, I'm a hands-on person, and I kind of, I have to I'm a control freak, you know, and I want to be really active and integrated in my patient's post-operative period. And so, you know, I'm always answering questions via text and, you know, in close contact with Dr. Dadvand. So that can be that can get stressful, and that can sometimes it takes time away from me. You know, you got to have a work-life balance.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, it's who I am, you know. It's like if I was doing some other job, I'd be working 24/7 with that job, you know.
Well, you're kind of like a counselor too. I mean, you really are. Like you're there for them when they're saying, is this amount of liquid in my what are those the drains normal? And when am I going to get my drains out? The drains are the worst part, I think. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's like the number one complaint I get from people is the drains. And I get it. Like they're no fun, but they do serve their purpose.
Right.
So are the drains, okay, this is actually a question. I know we got to go, but my last question here. So the drains, you guys have both had drains? Yes or no?
I know April. I did. Yeah. Because I had to lift. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what if I have a list, I'm going to have the same. And that's what I'm most scared of. Okay. So prepare me for that. What do I got to know about?
Honestly, it's just inconvenient. That's really what it is. Cause you've got these tubes that are hanging out of the bottom of your boobs with these little bulbs. They're like bulbs. And what they're doing is they're pulling out all of the inflammation, like the liquid, right? So you don't get inflamed, right, Michelle?
Yeah, so all the swelling, they prevent complications like, hematomas and seromas and stuff like that. Probably more seromas. Hematomas you typically have to treat right away. But yeah, they just makes me healing a lot smoother. I had a breast procedure without them and had swelling that lingered for months. My second breast procedure, I had drains, and I healed up so fast, and my breasts were soft, and it was just a smooth recovery.
Yeah. How long do you have to have them in, April, for your?
I want to say it was like a couple weeks, maybe.
Okay.
I don't really. It's like something I pushed out of my mind because I couldn't wait to get them out. I think it was like a couple weeks, and I think it depends on the color of the liquid too that's coming out. Like if it's the bright red, that means you're still bleeding, and then as it gets as you heal, it starts to get a lighter pink and then almost see through, and then it's no big deal. But to get them out is nothing. It actually was relieving. I'm like, pull those suckers out, and it's kind of surprising how long the tube is. Like once you have the whole damn thing wound up inside there, I mean, it's just, I'm like, I'm ready to go. You're just flashing anyone, like, take these things out of me. But yeah, once they're out, then you're just like good to go. So
yeah,
healing is a lot easier.
Good when you have them taken out. And each surgeon has their different kind of criteria of when they're comfortable taking them out.
Right.
So yeah, it kind of varies, but.
Okay.
All right.
So let's see. I wanted to, I was going to read this quote to you guys. I'm going to look it up really quick. I really thought it was perfect for today. And it said, let's see if I can get it on here. Okay. It says, true transformation begins within. Beauty's essence cannot solely be sculpted by the surgeon's hands. So, I think that's kind of like what we were talking about today. It's just, we encourage all of our listeners to dig deep and love yourself no matter what. And if there is something that you really do want to get done, don't feel bad about it. And it's also no one's business too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we tell people way too much, right? It's like there's no problem keeping some stories to yourself if you feel like you don't want everyone's opinion. My God, once you tell someone you're getting something done, everyone's got an opinion about it, right?
Yeah.
I think you said that before, like you don't have to tell everybody, it's just.
I think in life in general, if you make a plan to do something, whether it's you want to get a new job or you want to go back to school or whatever it is, keep it to yourself until it's done.
Yeah,
because then you don't have to worry about everybody else's. Everybody's going to have an opinion. You do you.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. It's so true.
There's less pressure too.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, with me posting about getting my Explant, I had 2 friends reach out and were like surprised that I was doing that. And they actually ended up getting it done too. So there are parts that if you're willing to be open about it, sometimes you can help other people that maybe
absolutely.
That is nice, but you just gotta know that you don't have to, so it's kind of nice. But, and then before we let you go, because you're just this little busy lady, we always ask all of our guests 2 questions. So what is the best advice you've ever received? And what is the worst advice you've ever received? And it could be plastic surgery related or not, life in general, whatever you would like to say for that.
So, the best advice I've ever gotten, and this applies to plastic surgery and then just life in general. So my old acting coach, he would always say, first thought, best thought. Meaning, like, go with your gut. Mm-hmm. You know the answer to anything. Oof. You always know right away. And so often we don't listen to that, and I don't know why. And I'm terrible at that. But yeah, first thought, best thought. And I tell my consultations, this is a big decision to make. And I say, look, like, what does your gut tell you? Go with what your gut says, and if that's you calling me in a week, booking surgery, then great. If it's not, then good luck to you.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's great. That's good advice.
Yeah. That you can take anywhere, in any situation.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like the worst advice I've ever been given in relation to plastic surgery is just work out.
Ugh.
There are some things you cannot address in the gym.
Can you say that again? I mean, come on. I love that.
There are some things you cannot address solely in the gym.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. People just want to, be whatever. They want to give their opinion. They want to, oh, you don't need it. Oh, you look fine. Oh, you can lose 10 pounds. Go to the gym, because people, surgery is a big thing.
Right.
But yeah, not everything, not everything you can just go take care of at the gym. Because honestly, if you could, then there would be no plastic surgery and there'd be a gazillion people in the gym every day.
Right.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm living proof of that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. It was so good to see your face. It's like makes me I've been wanting to come visit April so badly, and seeing you is like, oh God, I gotta come see you guys. We gotta have another girls' night.
But out here, we have to go to dinner again.
I know, we do. Okay, I'll make it happen.
I'll give you guys the nip slip this time. We don't have to do Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Oh, well, honey, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day. We just love you. And we're so proud of where you've landed, and people are so lucky to have you on the other side for a really hard time in their life. But, maybe this time next year, all three of us will be booby free.
Yeah.
Fake booby free. Fake booby free.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Michelle. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye. So it's been so fun.
What a fun episode. I love her.
Few months. I know that she's great. Yeah. It was good to see her, and I learned a lot. It's like you said, I mean, I think we set ourselves up for this standard of beauty when we're younger, after we have a baby and our body goes through hell, and we just want to have a little zhuzhing done. And then we need it again, in midlife too, when we're not feeling ourselves again, going through midlife. There's nothing wrong with it. No. It's like no judgment, no shame. Just do what makes you feel good. So that being said,
work too, it's like, make sure that you're journaling and you're getting outside in the sun and you're finding out what you love in life, because it's not all about looks. As easy as that can be, if you're only pretty on the outside and you're a mess on the inside, it's going to show. It's going to, no matter what kind of surgery you have, no matter how pretty your makeup is, what your hairstyle is, if you're a miserable person, it won't matter. So it's like, you have to kind of do both. You have to work on the inside and the outside, and then be okay with whatever you look like too. Like, enjoy the difference that not all of us are supposed to look like. That's okay. Like, that's the beauty of it. So, I
always tell my girls that too. It's like, I mean, I've dated some guys in the past that weren't like, you don't look at them and go, oh my God, they're stunningly gorgeous. But like, they're so funny and like good people. And I think, you really look, you have to be attracted to someone, right?
Right.
But I also think there's more to being attracted to someone than just their outward, how they look on the outside. So anyway, that was a fun one. And now I'm going to go schedule my, my consultation.
I do think we should do it at the same time. That would be super fun to heal together and all that. That would be great.
Oh my God. Well, no, I want to get mine out. But it's scary.
Not that bad. I know. And I think I went in, I'm like with what Michelle said, I definitely was more emotional and I wanted it done fast. Like, I didn't want to think about it. I just wanted to go and get it done. And because I didn't know, like, is this putting me in menopause early? Like, are the whites of my eyes going to feel better? Am I going to sleep better? Am I going to lose weight? Is this like just inflaming me and all these things? And, honestly, it's like, it's a big decision to make. And you have to realize that it's not going to look the same. It's not going to feel the same. There is that healing process. But now that I'm a year and a half post, it's like, I am so thankful I did it. I don't regret it for 1 second. And I really like being smaller. It makes me feel like more dainty, where I'm just so used to big, huge boobs everywhere I went. And it almost becomes like your identity. And it, like I said, when you're at the gym, I mean, they're left and right. It's all over the place. And it does not make them look more feminine. It's crazy. Like, to each his own. I'm not judging, but it's like, they're harsh. It's almost like a harsh look.
I mean, I've been in the dressing room and been in tears because I just can't get anything to fit up there anymore. Right. And I'm just going, what happened? Like, I just, my top doesn't match my bottom. Like, my bottom, like, it fits. The top, no, too tight. Can't get things to button, or it's pulling, or I just look too slutty, or, it's just, oh God, I'm so mad at myself, but what do you do?
Well, you know what, like Michelle said, give yourself some grace. It was the right thing at the time. And the beauty is that we don't have to, because neither one of our husbands are having plastic surgery. So we'll use all that money for it.
Exactly.
There's not enough money for all of us, okay? Just the girls get to do it. No. Oh, man. Well, what a fun time these have been to record all these with you. And I know you've got some big things coming up. So to our listeners, April's going to be moving and maybe changing locations. We'll see what's happening, but I think we'll need a little bit of a breather. And so with that, we're asking our followers, our listeners, to just be patient with us. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come on and do some lives and maybe do a little giveaway and maybe some get ready with me's. But I just want to give you some time. And I'm also winding down too with my youngest is going to be graduating high school soon. So I'm trying to be really present and not take too much time away from my last 4 weeks I have with him as
crazy.
Senior. Yeah, it is.
You can be an empty nester in 4 weeks.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, we just, we've really put a lot of pressure on ourselves to record every week because we love doing it so much. And we want to get back to recording every week. But since we're getting to summer, and last summer we took some time off too. So we're going to still record. We're just not going to be able to do it every single week. So bear with us. We're going to stay active on social media and send little videos and stuff. But it gives us a chance to come up with new fun content anyway to share. So
absolutely. There's always something fun to talk about. Yeah. So I just love being with you, girl, and seeing your pretty face.
Samesies. You look great today too. You're glowy.
I'm trying to do the big hair, but all my girlfriends here are hairdressers, and I always try to get their secrets, and they try to teach me, but that's the one thing I wish I could just have somebody do my hair every day. If that
it looks good.
Me. Well, thank you, darling. Thank you. It's all about that texturizing spray. Mm-hmm. That's what they like to do. But anyways, well, you guys, thank you so much for listening to us. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us some comments. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And if you have any questions about plastic surgery, explant, breast implants, like any of that kind of stuff, shoot it our way. And we'd love to answer those questions for you. But in the meantime, be looking out for us, and we'll be somewhere around the corner, because what do we like to say? We are fine, and neither are you.
We still don't have it down. We still can't do it. Oh, well, that's what you love about us, right? We're just grassroots.
Love it. Yes.
All right. Love you.
All right, you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to We Are Fine and Neither Are You. This podcast is all about spreading joy, knowledge, and laughter. While we strive to provide accurate information, please keep in mind that we're only human and mistakes happen. In addition, we would like to remind our listeners that the opinions expressed throughout this episode are for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not claim to be experts in any particular field, and the content provided should not be taken as professional advice. We encourage you to consult with qualified professionals or do your own research before making any decisions based on the information shared in this podcast. Thank you for joining us, and remember to stay curious and critical in your pursuit of knowledge. Please rate and review this episode. Your feedback is important to us.